afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Quarantine Connect 2020. I am so glad to have Spencer Lodge with me today, and I'm so delighted that he has accepted the invitation quite readily. Spencer is the chairman and co-founder of the Blue Sky Thinking Group. He is an author of Making It Happen, and he's the founder of Make It Happen University. He is hosting a splendid podcast named the Spencer Lodge Podcast that I'm watching quite regularly, and I have found it very useful. So thank you so much for joining me today, Spencer.
It's an honor. Thank you very much for inviting me.
I am a big fan of Spencer because he has some amazing tips and guidelines for increasing sales for businesses. And he's been guiding a large number of people. All my friends have been taking advice from him. And I decided, okay, it's our turn now to get some good ideas from him. So my first question is from Spencer is, how important do you think it is for business owners to have a good sales strategy in place in all times? It's not just about this time during the pandemic.
One of the problems that exists is that most business owners don't know how to sell. They have a product or a service that they try to offer, but they don't know how to sell. And it's because they know they'll be an expert in their product or an expert in their service, but they won't be an expert in sales. And if you take every small business out there, if it makes no sales, it makes no money. And if you make no money, you don't have a business, you have a hobby. Yeah. And so for me, I'm fascinated when I talk to people because so many of them struggle with sales, but have never gone to school to learn how to sell. And they don't take selling as a skill seriously. They look at selling as something that, extrovert characters are good at selling. People that have got the chatty voices and the gift of the gab, as we would say in London. And that's just so false and so incorrect. Being good at finance, being good at digital media, being good at creating content, being good at selling, being good at presenting, all these things are skills. You wouldn't deal with a lawyer that wasn't officially trained and qualified, would you?
No, not at all.
You wouldn't deal with a doctor that wasn't trained or qualified.
No question about that.
And if you met a dentist and he said when you sat in the chair, I've never done this before, it's my first day, okay, I've had a couple of goes, okay, but you'd be out of that dental surgery in a minute. Yeah. But you wouldn't get an architect to design and build your house unless they knew what they were doing. And so why do we think that getting an unqualified salesperson or being a business owner and being unqualified in the skill of sales is going to help you? It's not. You've got to learn it. And so most businesses struggle with sales because they're not taking the skill of selling seriously.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's true. I agree with you because I have seen during these 8 years of my business, I've noticed that many small business entrepreneurs struggle with the sales part. They believe, okay, everybody knows me. And now I'm out of the job. I have my own business. I'm my own master. So I'm going to sell. And the result is that since they do not have a proper sales training, many of them, and they are trying to make things possible all on their own without delegating, they end up shutting down within 1 year or 1.5 years of the business. So since we've been branding a lot of SMEs, what happens is that many of them are no longer here. Like people who were in business in 2015 and 16 are not there anymore. Even people who started off in 2017 and 18 are not there anymore because this is 2020, an entirely different ecosystem than it was 2 years ago. So when it comes to SMEs and one person's business is there, one person who's trying to manage everything, the business model, the products, the product sale, the client servicing, what are good ways of managing cash flow, of having enough sales, of having enough sustainability in their business? What do you advise?
It's a case of prioritization as far as I'm concerned. When you look at any business, cash flow is always king. Right now, any company that doesn't have any money, doesn't have any cash flow is going to end up having to close because they've got no money to cash flow the business. So cash flow is everything. And profit is important, but profit is secondary, particularly at a time like this. As long as you can keep going, i.e. you've got money coming through the doors, you can survive. And so it's about prioritizing what's important. Okay. They're called money-making activities as far as I'm concerned. Every day you get up, you've got your own business, you're a solo-preneur, an entrepreneur, whatever fancy title you want to give yourself. The fact is, are you focusing on money-making activities? Write a list of all the things you've got to do. And if it's essential that you make money, then write a list of the things that can help you make money now. And worry about everything second. Worry about everything after money-making activities, because as long as there's money coming through the doors, you're going to be okay. And a lot of business owners don't get it. They want to have the perfect website, the perfect brand. They want to have, the full understanding and presentation and details of their product. They want to have perfect financial structures in place. It's just all nonsense. When you start a business at the beginning, of course, before you start, you should plan, and you should find out whether there is a market for your product. And the way you find out whether there's a market for your product or service is to go online and ask people. And then, go offline and go into Dubai Mall or wherever shopping center you want to with a clipboard and stop people and say, I've got some questions. Would you help me fill in a survey? And find out if there's an actual need for your product. If there's a need for your product, then you've got a starting point. If it's a product you love and you think it's amazing, so everybody else should think it's amazing, you're going to be frightened to find out that not everybody does. So find out if there's a need. Once you've found out if there's a need, you've done your proper online and offline. And I don't mean ask 10 people. I mean ask 1,000 people. Genuinely do proper research. Once you've done that, then you need to create a plan of what you're trying to do. Then you have to ask yourself, have I got enough money to start this business? And if you haven't, then go and earn the money before you start. Get the money that you need together to start that business, and then say to yourself, how am I going to get customers?
Yes, because they need to multiply that money. Otherwise, they will be running out of cash, and then it will be a problem.
Absolutely. And that's what happens with most businesses. That's why most businesses fail, because of the 5 P's, poor planning. Planning and preparation prevents poor performance, as they say. And you've got a plan, but you've got to know, is there a market? Where is that market? How frequently will they buy? And will they buy from me? If I've got any competition, are there any threats out there to my business? And how am I going to activate people to spend money with me? Now, whether that's an FMCG product or service, doesn't matter. How am I going to get people to take action and give me their cash for my product and service?